What is the biggest change to testing I've seen in my career? Uh, I haven't seen testing changing enough. That's the thing I'm worried about. For a while in the middle, towards the end of the aughts and at the beginning of the 2010s and so on, what I saw was this hopeful moment where it seemed like we were going to be focusing more on skill and the humanistic dimensions of testing. And it's kind of like a wave that keeps coming in and out, right? The tide keeps coming in and out over this stuff. We're now back into a stage where people are obsessively focused on tools and automation. And to be honest with you, that's a change that keeps happening every year. That this tide comes in and swamps a whole bunch of stuff. Tools are super important. We love tools. We love tools, but tools can't be at the center of testing. At the center of testing, we've got to have skilled people, because a fantastic tool will allow a skilled tester to do even more fantastic work, but a fantastic tool will allow a bad tester to do bad testing faster and worse than that tester has ever done bad testing before. So the change that I hope is coming, and the change that I've seen come and go and come and go, is this continuous emphasis on let's be thoughtful, skillful, critical testers. Let's learn to focus ourselves on finding problems, not on demonstration. Demonstration is sort of kind of important, but we get that for free when we look for problems.
The biggest change to testing that I've seen for me personally is there are more people talking about testing. There are a lot of people still doing the same testing they were kind of doing back in the 80s and 90s, but there are other people talking about it, saying, hey, we've got new techniques, new tools, new approaches, new mindsets around these types of things that might be appropriate for which kind of organization you're in and which sort of situation you're in.
I think the biggest change has been the way we develop software in general. So I think it's kind of flipped the entire industry up a little bit. Where we were used to like stages and everyone had their own role, and so it was very clear what a tester did. You stay out of everyone's way until the product was ready, and then you beat it up to death. And so that's changed quite a bit in the wake of like agile software methodologies and DevOps, where we're moving so fast, there's just not time for the different stages anymore. So testing has to learn more, has to get involved in like design and planning and development, and so our skills are changing as well. The skills that we need, it's not just knowing how to explore an application, but also how to look at people's their thought processes and designs, and be able to be code literate and write code to do some of the testing so that we can move at the speed that we need to.
I can't tell you that. I have no idea. Any prediction that I've ever made, I'll give you a great example actually. In 1994, it was either January or February, somebody showed me this thing on the screen. They said, see, look, that picture there is coming from a machine, not this machine, but it's coming from a computer over there. And the text is coming from a still different computer. And I said, well, what's that? And they said, well, it's called a browser, and it's there to support this new thing called the World Wide Web, where we're going to have computers all connected to each other, and instead of sitting at just one machine that has just one bit of software running on it, we're going to have stuff running on all kinds of machines that go to the same thing. And I thought, yeah, great, that's a wonderful idea. That'll never work. So I've been so wrong about so many predictions about the future. I don't make predictions anymore. But I can tell you about the future that I hope we get, which is that testers will become increasingly focused once again on finding problems that matter to people, so that we can help defend people against problems that will hurt them. I want to help make a better world, and the way to do that for testers, programmers, and people who commission software, they're constructing that. It's my job to find problems in the things that they're constructing so that we can make sure that the problem is solved. They can make sure that the problem is solved, and make sure that we notice things that might get in the way of that. That's the future I'm looking for testing.
Oh, the future of testing. You never really know. We see like a big push with AI and machine learning. Everybody's talking about that right now. I think that a lot of the mundane type of tasks that we used to do as far as in the testing role will be pushed off to more of the cutting edge technology. So even things like coming up with test cases and scenarios, like that might not be something that's a huge part of our job anymore, as we utilize more sophisticated tools to actually explore the application or similar applications our customers, our competitors, and look at data and be able to pull all of that together to be able to say, okay, these are your most important type test cases. And they're already automated. Like a lot of that, I think is going to happen in the future. And so our role is going to be still customer advocacy, I believe. So as we explore a lot of these artificial type approaches, while they seem smarter, they lack this human aspect. And so we're going to have to keep everyone like on their toes and thinking about the human aspect of computer science and making sure that that is thought out throughout the process.
So the future of testing for me is looking at it. We're still going to have to focus on the human aspect, because if you think about it, the software we use today, most of it, if not all of it, is directly or indirectly consumed by humans. So there is some human readable interface. Somebody's doing something to it, whether it's your phone, your watch, your TV, whatever it is. The software that's there is ultimately meant for human consumption on some level. So until we understand that we don't have any humans to do that work or to do that consumption, we should really have humans in the pipeline for testing, simply because we have to make it appropriate for our for our users to do the right thing and to be able to get value and happiness out of the software they're using. Because if you think about it, nobody really wants software. They want a problem solved, or they want something fun to happen. They want something emotional, something that appeals to their brain and their heart, and software just happens to be the way we're conveying that right now.
How can testers stay relevant? There is a constant push to do more stuff more quickly all the time, and we've got to be able to keep up with that. At the same time, it seems to me that we've got to focus on different kinds of problems than we've looked at before. It used to be that the problems that we were trying to find were problems with fairly simple data processing. Well, now software is eating the world, and algorithms are eating the world, and what we need to do as testers is we need to focus on the problems with that. I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but we need to focus on things that are ethical concerns, that are not merely technological concerns, but social concerns, that we need to become more like anthropologists, sociologists, and look at how the decisions that we're making as we're building these things affect people, especially minorities, especially women, especially poor people, and especially when they're poor female minorities, members of the minority group. We've got to be very careful about how our technologies can have devastating effects as well as exhilarating ones. And we, I believe, as testers are the ones who have to keep clear on this and exercise, help people exercise a note of caution as they're building stuff. That's how I think we stay relevant.
I think this is true of all disciplines in tech. You have to be willing to always learn. Things are going to change. Sometimes they're changing at a rapid pace. You have to pick up new skills that seem scary. So, as a tester, like coding might have seemed scary 5, 10 years ago, but now this is something that is expected in a lot of the testing roles, that you understand code and know how to write a little bit. Same with like AI and ML, where this seems foreign to a lot of people. It seems scary and intimidating at first, but being able to adapt and pick these things up is important.
So relevance is going to be relative based on what it is you're trying to do. There's a big push, obviously, for everybody needs to be able to code and program. That's true or it's not. In some teams, some organizations, or some companies, they might only be hiring people that can test and code. That's their prerogative, right? Hopefully they've done some amount of homework and they know the positives and negatives with that approach. Other organizations are still looking at, yes, we understand that we need a human touch to what we're doing here, but if what we're really looking for is for staying relevant, meaning that you can move job to job, find new opportunities, learning how to have at least some amount of programming skill. Not even talking about automation or tools or stuff. Just being able to look at and read code and maybe write a little bit of code is probably going to open up some more doors for you than if you don't have that one particular skill.